Hola a todos. Hoy quería hablar un poquito de español con vosotros. Bonjour à tous, à tout le monde. Aujourd'hui, je veux parler un peu de la français parce que je parle le français pas souvent avec vous. On se chaîne. Saluton amikoj. Hodiaŭ mi volas paroli Esperanton kun vi ĉiuj. สวัสดีครับวันนี้ผมอยากพูดภาษาไทยกับคุณทุกคนครับ entonces hoy quiero hablar un poquito de español. Tengo un pelo en mi lengua. Hoy quiero hablar un poquito de español con vosotros porque tengo un canal de idiomas, de lenguas y quiero hablarlos. สวัสดีครับคุณโคชพัฒน์สวัสดีครับวันนี้ผมอยากพูดภาษาไทยกับคุณเพราะว่าผมมี YouTube ที่ภาษาและผมอยากพูดภาษาผมต้องฝึกบ่อยๆentonces tengo un canal de idiomas y yo quiero hablar con ustedes. Saluton, Siriam. Siriam dirás saluton, Pingtam, el Singapuro. Saluton, el Usono. Hodiaŭ mi volas nur praktiki lingvojn, ĉar mi havas kanalo de YouTube pri lingvojn kaj mi devas paroli ilin. So to everyone who can't understand what I'm saying, I'll try to switch back and forth into English from time to time. Today, I just want to hang out with you guys and speak some languages. Because I have a channel that's all about languages, and I speak English 99% of the time on this channel. Rejoice Mirla says, สวัสดีครับเป็นยังไงบ้างสวัสดีผมสบายครับแล้วคุณล่ะครับ Kuchabat says เป็นยังไงบ้างครับ Thingtam. I'm sorry, my ability to read Thai is very poor. ผมอ่านไทยได้แต่ไม่ค่อยดีเท่าไหร่ครับผมอยากฝึกอ่านภาษาไทยแต่ผมต้องฝึกทุกวันเพราะว่าอ่านภาษาไทยยากมากครับ So as usual, I want to start off this live stream just by asking you guys, what languages do you speak? Most of you know I speak English natively. I'm also fluent in Spanish. I speak French and Esperanto. My Esperanto is a little rusty. I guess my French is probably a little rusty now too. I haven't really practiced French a whole lot since I graduated from college. I am actively learning Thai. I also speak a little bit of Greek. I just spent probably the last 5 months more or less dabbling in Greek. It was more than a dabble. I was actively learning Greek for, probably about 5 months or so. But not really with the intention of ever following all the way through and becoming fluent in Greek. Okay, Forever Learning French says, salut, je tricote pendant que tu fais du crochet. Très bien. Je fais du crochet parce que je veux seulement me relax et I don't know how do you say hangout in French? I don't know if there's not necessarily always a word in every language that translates into hang out, like passer le temps. Yeah, je vais passer le temps avec vous. And I didn't really plan anything to talk about today. It was just really busy week. I was planning another video for next Monday, and I was recording and editing, and it took a little bit longer than I thought. So it always does. And in the end, I ended up not even finishing the video. So I came up with another one really quick, and that took a bunch of time. Entonces, estoy aquí y no tengo ningún plan para esta live stream. ¿Cómo se dice live stream en español? Pues, no sé. What can you say in German? Nicht. Nein. Nicht. I don't know. Nicht. Is that nothing? I can't say anything in German. I can say Teufelhunden because I was in the Marine Corps. I can say Guten Tag and Auf Wiedersehen. I can say die schlanke Frau aus Frankreich isst Kuchen mit Sahne. Kuchen mit Sahne. I have no idea if I just spoke actual German there. Okay. So Siriam here says, if there isn't a word, just talk around it. That's what I did for my Tamil oral exams. Yeah, exactly. That's a good attitude to have. If there's no word in the language, or even if you just don't know the word. Oh, hey, I just received a super chat for €5 from Grace Report. Merci beaucoup. She says, j'adore ta chaîne. Bon courage de Paris. Merci beaucoup, Grace. Grace, I guess. I don't know. Do you pronounce your name in French or in English? Grace, Grace, merci. For those who don't know, a super chat is like it's just a small sponsorship for YouTube channel that you believe in. So I appreciate your show of support there. Normally a lot of times it comes along with a question saying like, hey, what's your question? You just ask a question and then that'll go along with the super chat, and it'll pin it to the top there so I can see it. Anyways, all right, Siriam, I'm sorry, I think I mispronounce your name every time. Sriram. She says, mi havas amiko que volas studi en Germanio, do mi studis iom da germana kun li, kaj nun mi forgesis ĉiam. Vi forgesis ĉiam, vi forgesis la germanan? Do mi studis iom da germana kun li, kaj nun vi studis, vi forgesis la germanan aŭ vi forgesis alian lingvon? Okay, so Calvin says, very good CH sound. In German, nicht. Yeah, that's part of it comes along with studying linguistics. There's just so many speech sounds that exist in other languages that we don't have in English. Like the R in French or the R in Spanish, the actually that sound exists in a lot of languages, right? Like it's in Greek, it's in Spanish, it's in German. I think maybe Scottish English even, like Loch Lomond. Hebrew, I believe, and learning linguistics, I always say there's a difference between learning linguistics and learning to speak a language. But having a knowledge of phonology, especially in phonetics, can be really useful. Having a general knowledge of that can be really useful for learning specific languages. Entonces, hablo español demasiado. Je parle l'anglais tellement. Je veux pas parler l'anglais dans tout le... je sais pas le mot pour live stream en français. Okay, I'm going to need the word for live stream in every language, because now that I think about it, I don't know if I ever actually learned. I know that in Esperanto, the word for live stream is rektan sendon. Ah, okay, grâce. Le mot pour live stream en français est en direct. Et en fait, je savais ça, mais j'ai oublié. Alors, je veux pas parler l'anglais dans tout ce en direct, dans tout ce film en direct, je sais pas. Ou même live stream, si tu veux. Ah, très bien. Je veux parler l'anglais, je veux pas parler l'anglais dans tout ce live stream. Alors, je parle le français, je parle l'espéranto, je parle l'espagnol, le thaïlandais. Emily says, hi from Japan, first time to join. Thanks for joining, Emily. We're just hanging out speaking different languages. Do you speak Japanese? Or are you Japanese? Or, I like to ask everyone early on what languages you speak and what languages you're actively learning. Emily says, I am Japanese. Well, welcome. Let's see. Konnichiwa. I don't know. That's hello, right? Konnichiwa. Arigato. Wait, konnichiwa. I don't know. Is that thank you? Sorry, I can't read Japanese. Okay, so I'm missing a lot of comments here. Hello, Farad from India. Okay. Chuvishanjas. Sriram says, Chuvishanjas via nomo por via lingvoi. Bone, kiam mi parolas la angla, mi nomigas Aaron. En français, je m'appelle Aaron. En espagnol, en espagnol mi nomigas. Nah. En español, yo me llamo Aaron o Aaron. Tengo amigos que me llaman Aaron porque creo que eso es más cerca a mi nombre inglés, Aaron, pero también mucha gente me llaman Aaron. Creo que eso es más común en español. Thank you for Bartek for your kind super chat. Bartek says, thank you for your great work. We love you. Hey, I appreciate the support. It means a lot when people are willing to support my channel like that. I love doing this channel, but it's really it really feels good that there's so many people who are benefiting from the videos that I put out there. And so, yeah, I appreciate it. You guys are great. You're why I do this channel. Anyways, man, we got a lot of Thai speakers on here today. I love it. Sawadee kapทุกคน ผมอยากฝึกภาษาไทยกับคุณทุกคนเพราะว่าพูดภาษาไทยยากมากและผมต้องฝึกมากเลยแต่ผมอยู่ที่ประเทศอเมริกาและไม่มีคนที่ไม่มีเพื่อนไทยที่อเมริกาผมต้องฝึกภาษาไทยกับคุณครับ. Okay, so Bartek ZZC says, I am literally studying and don't have much money, but if I could, I would give you more because you deserve it. I appreciate it. Hey, it's the little things, it's the little things that show your appreciation. And it's a great community. I love you guys. All right. I don't know why this message, oops. I think I accidentally deleted a message from someone just now. I apologize, Sriram. I think I accidentally just deleted your message, and I did not intend to do that. It says it says message automatically held for review, hidden by Finkdom. I don't know why. You said something in Esperanto, and I think it probably got flagged because there might have been a word in Esperanto that you used that wasn't maybe it's like a bad word in English or something. Sometimes that happens. There's a good word in one language that translates into a bad word in another language. Like my favorite song in French, not my favorite song, but maybe the funniest song I know of in French is called La Fuck en Alaska. And it's really funny because I live in Wisconsin. There's a town in Wisconsin called Onalaska. And I'm not entirely sure. I know I've met people from Onalaska before, but I don't think I currently know people who live in Onalaska, Wisconsin. But if I ever do, I'm definitely going to play them the song called La Fuck Onalaska. Because it's just too good. Okay, Nathaniel says, do you speak Arabic? I do not, unfortunately. I would love to speak all the languages. And it's hard because a lot of times I get a lot of messages from people saying, when are you going to learn Arabic? When are you going to learn Russian? When are you going to learn Portuguese? People ask me about Portuguese a lot. Everyone wants me to learn their language. Like, do you have any interest in Farsi? Or hey, I speak Urdu. If you ever want to learn Urdu, let me know. And it's like, yeah, I would love to learn all of these languages, but you can only learn so many languages in a lifetime. And I feel bad telling people like, no, I ain't learning your language, and it's not like that. It's like, I wish I could. I wish I could learn your language. I just don't. There's not enough hours in the day. There's not enough days in the year, not enough years in a lifetime. All right. Jorge Alejandro Yanis Peñalosa says, I speak English and Spanish in the process of learning Portuguese. Great. We're glad to have you here. Emily says, I started using Link because of your video. Thanks for introducing me to such an amazing platform. Hey, I'm really glad to hear that, Emily. Thanks so much for saying that. For those who don't know, Link, and I always have to specify this, Link is spelled Lingq. It's not pronounced Ling-Q, it's pronounced Link. And it's a great resource for improving your listening and your reading skills in your in whatever language you're learning. CGH says, what languages are allowed in this Hangout? Any language you want. I guarantee you speak a language here, someone will know it. I can't guarantee that, but we have 25 people watching the live stream right now. And they're all people interested in languages. So there's a good chance if you speak a language, someone will know it. We have multiple people here speaking Thai. Kochapat says, Pom yindi ti dai put gap kun krap kun fing tam. ขอบคุณมากเลยผมอยากมีเพื่อนที่พูดภาษาไทยผมต้องฝึกภาษาไทยI want to say more stuff in Thai, but my vocabulary is still pretty limited. This is just a side note. And I know I've been speaking English a lot, but it's just a side note. A lot of times when I'm doing like an italki message conversation with a tutor, I like run out of things to talk about. And so I sort of like start circling back and forth around all the same topics that we've already talked about. And I don't find that to be super beneficial just to say the same things over and over again. So sometimes what I do is I'll pull up like a children's book or a PDF from ThaiPod 101, and we'll just read it together, and then we'll discuss whatever happens in the story, like in the book. And that gives us a topic to talk about. It also gives me certain vocabulary words from the story that I learned by reading the story. And then it gives us a conversation topic. So it's really useful. Entonces, no quiero hablar solo inglés. Je veux pas parler seulement l'anglais dans ce live stream. Mi ne volas paroli nur la anglan en ĉi tiun rektan sendon. Don. I don't even know what language that was. Do, bonvolu paroli kun mi alia lingve. Bonvolu paroli la francan aŭ la hispanan aŭ esperanton aŭ alian lingvon. Looks like we have some messages in Russian. I don't speak Russian, but let's see. The only word I recognize in there is Ruski. Ruski? I don't know how to even pronounce that in Russian. I have some, looks like Japanese, probably. And I don't know what it says. Nian says, ton français, on dirait le français du Canada. Ouais, bien sûr. Je parle français canadien en tabarnak. No, okay, so, someone asked, ¿puedes tejer? ¿Qué estás haciendo en el thumbnail? Sí, yo estoy tejiendo. No, j'ai commencé à apprendre le français ici aux États-Unis et j'avais beaucoup d'enseignantes, beaucoup de profs qui parlent le français. Est-ce qu'on dit ça? Le français, like, le français européen. Et alors, j'ai appris le français européen d'abord, mais après, je suis allé au Canada pour en vacances. Et maintenant, j'ai quelques amis canadiens et mon français, c'est pas très bon maintenant. Et je crois que j'ai adopté un peu l'accent canadien en français, mais c'est un mélange, non? Un mélange de le français européen et le français québécois. Alors, bon, si tu veux mon playlist, mon liste de lecture qui s'appelle 30 Day Record Yourself Challenge. J'ai fait le 30 Day Record Yourself Challenge en français et en ce moment, il y a 2 ans, mon français était fortement québécois. Parfois, j'écoute, je vois mes vidéos anciennes et je pense, wow, mon français était très, très, très québécois. Alors, c'est drôle. Okay. Here's a message held for my review show. Have you heard of the protests happening in Thailand? I've heard a little bit about them. I haven't actually looked into them very much. So, Maïrou. OK. Nayan said, mais si ton français est pas mal, impressionnant. Bon, je crois que mon français était meilleur. Il y a 1 an, 2 ans, j'étudiais, je parlais le français, je lisais le français, j'écoutais le français presque tous les jours. Mais maintenant, j'apprends le thaïlandais et j'enseigne l'espagnol. Alors, mon français mon français se deviennent mauvais. Oh, I used to speak French a whole lot better than I do now. And it's kind of embarrassing. It sucks to start to lose a language, although I am going to have to start really pushing and improving my French. I'm not worried about losing French just because it is one of the most common languages for people to speak online. It's one of the important world languages, so I'll always have input for that. But also, I'm not worried about losing French because I am hoping to move to Montreal maybe as soon as next year. And that will definitely... OK, en Montréal, on peut parler l'anglais, mais je préfère parler le français. Et je sais que quand je me déménage, how do you say to move in déménager? That's not right. Man, my French is really slipping now. Quand je vais en Québec, déménager. Quand je me déménage en Québec, au Québec. Yeah, okay, everyone's catching up now. There's a little bit of a lag. Yeah, merci beaucoup. I just did the Thai thing. Quand je me déménage au Canada, je vais pratiquer le français plus. OK, Forever Learning French says, je comprends quand tu parles français. C'est trop cool. Ouais, d'accord. All right. CG said, did you only use Link to learn French or other things too? Oh, I used Link I started using Link to learn French. I also used it to read novels and sort of just help maintain my Spanish, as just sort of like not actively learning Spanish, but just to kind of help keep Spanish in my life. And I used it for actively learning Greek. I also used it for, or no, I would have used it for Thai, but they don't have it. I also used it a little bit for Esperanto. Chenyo's wife says, Ben catalaveno galika. Catalavenite Elenica. Ego catalaveno Ligo Elenica. A la Ven Ojicala. Oh, yeah, man, I swear I can speak these languages when I speak them by themselves, but when I'm trying to speak 7 languages all at once, it's really tough, as you all know. Okay, Sriram says, Charmutai dalla Thailandanoi ne shatas ilia registraro nun. So that's what the protests are for in Thailand. Moonspud says, Sawati Kap, kun Moonspud. Yindi tirai ruchak sabay di mai. So, kiel fartas vian grekan, char vi ne parolis gin en ĉi tiu filmo? Yes, fakte mi decidis ne plu studi la grekan. Eble mi estontece lernos gin, sed nun mi devas enfoki. Ĉu enfoki estas vorton? Estas vorto. Mi decidis ke mi devas aktive studi la Thaian denove. So I still, I spent about 5 months studying Greek. It's not like it all goes away, but I'm just going to be very limited. I'm going to have very limited Greek study in the near future. So, entonces, quiero hablar español. Je veux parler le français. Eu quiero aprender falar portugués. I'm trying to remember. Ich nicht sprechen Deutsch. I don't know if I said that right. Ich nicht sprechen Deutsch. CG says, j'aime beaucoup la langue. Which language? Okay, we have a bunch of different people here. Kochapat says, mi kon put pasat ภาษากรีกเคยมีคนพูดภาษากรีกด้วยมีคุณพูดภาษากรีกด้วยผมเรียนภาษากรีกผมเคยเรียนภาษากรีกแต่ตอนนี้ไม่กำลังเรียนภาษากรีกตอนนี้ผมอยากเรียนภาษาไทยผมกำลังเรียนภาษาไทยแต่ผมอยากเรียนภาษากรีกแต่ไม่ตอนนี้ไม่ใช่ตอนนี้Jorge, ¿preguntas a todos o solo a él? Podrías, ¿cuánto te toma aprender un idioma en promedio? ¿En qué te enfocas primero? Pues, cuando yo aprendo un idioma, aprender un idioma no ocurre en un día, ¿verdad? Es un proceso. Empiezas con ni una palabra y es un proceso despacio, gradual, ¿verdad? No sé cuánto tiempo necesito para aprender un idioma. Pues necesito un día para aprender lo básico, ¿verdad? Para aprender cómo decir hola, gracias, por favor, ¿verdad? Bienvenido. Pero para aprender a hablar con fluidez, pues eso es necesario practicar por lo menos, no sé, 6 meses, pero practicando mucho cada día, ¿verdad? No, creo que mínimo 6 meses. Pero eso no quiere decir que cada persona tiene que hablar con fluidez, ¿verdad? Mucha gente aprende, muchas personas aprenden idiomas y nunca alcanzan un nivel nativo. De hecho, creo que nadie alcance un nivel como un hablante nativo, de verdad. Es un, I don't know, how do you say continuum in Spanish? Let me see here. Es un continuo gradual, ¿verdad? Una persona puede aprender español hasta un nivel suficiente para él, ¿verdad? Y no tiene que siempre mejorar y bueno, es una buena idea siempre mejorar y aprender más y más. Taylor R says, hey, I finally made it to a live stream. That's awesome. Hola, Taylor, or let me see. Guten Tag, right? Continuo. Okay, so yeah, it's a lifelong process. Es un proceso de toda la vida, ¿verdad? Pues es importante, creo que es una buena idea siempre aprender más, porque siempre hay algo que puedes aprender. Pero quiero mantener en mi mente que no hay que sentir mal, no hay que no hay que tener una actitud de siempre estresada, ¿verdad? Para aprender más. Hay un nivel en que podemos hablar, podemos más o menos entender lo que la otra gente dice, las otras personas dicen. No te debes sentir mal, exacto. Bueno, yo creo que yo puedo tener una conversación durante varias horas y no me siento mal por a veces yo no entiendo una palabra o no sé una palabra que quiero decir. Pues yo puedo, yo he viajado a muchos países hispanohablantes y yo tengo muchos amigos hispanohablantes y he pasado días y días sin inglés en Colombia, en México, en El Salvador, en Panamá, en Uruguay, en España, y puedo pasar horas y días y semanas sin hablar inglés, ¿verdad? Pero eso no quiere decir que siempre digo, siempre hablo español 100% correctamente. Yo hago errores. A veces yo no sé decir algo en español. A veces alguien dice algo que yo no entienda. No importa, yo hablo español. Y creo que mi español era mejor, estaba mejor. Y ahora no lo hablo a menudo y se está empeorando poco a poco. Pero por eso quiero hablar contigo, con vosotros, ¿verdad? Y quiero seguir leyendo libros en español. Jorge said, mi español era mejor antes. Gracias. Sí, exacto. Por eso os necesito. Mi español era mejor antes, pero todavía puedo hablar con ustedes. Y ustedes me ayudan. Vosotros me ayudan. I don't know which version of Spanish I'm using. Okay. Kochapat says, Fingtam, Dai du sữa, no, Dai du sữaอะไรให้ของไทยนั่งเพลงright. Okay, so I have some people that I can speak Thai to. ได้ดูเสื้อบางครั้ง I'm sorry, I don't. I'm learning Thai, แต่ไม่ค่อยดีเท่าไหร่ครับ Okay. Luis says, saludos desde Perú. Me gustan tus videos en inglés. Gracias. Espero que mis videos os ayuden. And we also have hola, saludos desde Colombia. Okay. Zia hogi vagi massacrum. I don't know what language that is. I'm sorry. Lire le mot says bonsoir. Pour moi, c'est bonjour. C'est le matin. Alors, mixing up all my languages. Mais le jour, c'est pas très beau. Il pluie. Okay. Jaden says, F you. Ok. Lucas Santos, se le salió el español. Exacto. Y por eso yo quiero hablar español con vosotros, para que mi español no se me vaya. Yeah, Lil Lemon says, "Oh, it's night here." Ha ha ha. Yeah, I know. It's let's see. I think I'm like 7 hours behind France, 6 or 7 hours. GH says, "Danke Taylor, nie sprachen mi Deutsch, but I heard Guten Tag before." Yeah, same. Siriam, this is a while back. She said, "Kia vi parolas la hispanan, via capo pensus que via parolas Esperanton, sed mi ne comprenis gin, kai mi estus tre yes, mi comprenas." It's really hard for me to speak Spanish and Esperanto in the same live stream. Char mi ciam comentas en Esperanto y sigo en español y mi mezclas las lenguas en mi cabeza, y porque hay muchas palabras en español que son similares a vortoj en Esperanto, kaj mi ne povas paroli ilin correctamente. Can you speak Portuguese? Eu quiero aprender a falar português, pero eu não falo português. I don't know if I said any of that correctly. I did start learning Portuguese for a few weeks before I went to a trip to Portugal, but I was only in Portugal for about 2 days, so I didn't really get the chance to practice that much. En magyarul tanulok. Is that Hungarian? I only know one word in Hungarian, and that's finktam. I guess Magyar. Magyar? How do you say that? Magyar? Taylor says, "Ja, guten Morgen, guten Tag, guten Abend, guten Nacht." See, I guess I know 2 words in Hungarian then, because I recognized Magyarul. Okay. And most people don't know this. A lot of people think finktam is like my name. Finktam is actually the only word I know in Hungarian, and that's why the name of my channel is Finktam Languages. It has nothing to do with me personally. It's just a Hungarian word that I happen to know. Okay, Lucas Morena says, "Yes, it was correct, except but, which is mas in Portuguese, but your accent is quite good." That's impressive. Okay, eu quero aprender a falar português, mas eu não falo português. I can also say bom dia. I learned that when I was walking with some Brazilians on the Camino de Santiago in Spain. Okay, Bark ZZZ says, "I have to go now, but I wish I could keep listening to you. Cannot wait to see you live again, hopefully very soon. Take care of yourself. In case you want to learn Slavic language like Polish, let me know." Hey, great. I appreciate you coming. I really appreciate Super Chat. And I just appreciate the support that you show my channel. It's really great. So anyways, Lucas Morana says, "Do you have a favorite Spanish accent that's easier for you to understand?" No, I don't. Okay, I want to keep my crocheting going a little bit. So my journey with Spanish started when I was in high school. Actually, when I was in middle school. And you just learn that kind of generic American Spanish. I really mastered Spanish. I wouldn't say master, but I got really good at Spanish when I was in El Salvador. And so I learned a lot of Salvadoran Spanish. We learned a lot of, we call them caliche words. Like instead of sucio, it's chuco. Instead of perro, it's chucho. Instead of actually, I don't know how you would say this in other dialects, but I would say que yuca. It means like that sucks, or like that. Yeah, like that sucks. Que yuca. And then there's just other Salvadoran words. I learned a lot of those. And I'm trying to think where I was going with this. So I learned Salvadoran Spanish pretty well. But then I moved back to the United States. I went on a lot of different trips to different Spanish-speaking countries: Mexico, Ecuador, Colombia, Uruguay, Panama, Honduras, Spain. And I spent an entire summer in Europe, mostly in Spain. And I did the Camino de Santiago. I walked across the entire country. I literally walked the entire way across the entire country. Like, I started in France, walked all the way to the ocean on the opposite end of the country. And that was a great experience. It took me like a month and a half. A lot of fun. Got to practice Spanish a lot. I also had multiple professors in college who were from Spain. And I think during that process, I started to develop sort of a European Spanish accent. And I started to use vosotros and stuff, and, sort of just developed that Spanish dialect, European Spanish dialect. And sometimes that still comes out, but now I would say it's more of a free variation between my Spanish, European Spanish, and American Spanish. Sometimes I say vosotros, sometimes I say ustedes, sometimes I say corazón, sometimes I say corazón. There's not really any method to the madness. It's all just a mix now. But I remember when I went to Mexico last year, at the beginning of last year, it was like not too long after I had just come back from Spain. And I was literally saying European Spanish stuff nonstop, and people kind of laughed at me for that. But it was okay. It was not like a malicious laughter. It was like, wow, your accent is so cute kind of thing, which actually I think sort of like motivated me to try to maintain my Castilian Spanish accent as long as I could. It was sort of funny. Okay, so Asiatic God Mathematics says, if you take the S off the front of Spain and put it on the end, it says pains, anagram. I don't think that's what an anagram is. Okay, so Lucas Moraes says, oh, I wonder how much Spanish changes through Latin America, because it's really huge. Yeah, it is. I find it was a little bit difficult for me to understand people in Latin America. I mean, I'm sorry, not Latin America. It was a little bit difficult for me to understand people in Uruguay. Also in Cartagena, Colombia. It's weird because in Bogota, the Spanish they spoke there was so easy for me to understand. And then just a few hours away in Cartagena, it was like I had to ask people to repeat themselves like 7 times because, I don't know, the dialect was just very different. Lucas Santos said, did you watch the video of Elise about choosing one dialect? No, I saw I saw like the thumbnail for that video, but I didn't watch it. I mean, there's just so many videos, I don't know what she had to say about that, but I will tell you, I am very happy to have a sort of bastard mix of different Spanish dialects. It doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I think that's also just kind of the mark of a language learner. You have an accent, you have a dialect. Daniel says chucho is also used in Spain. It's despective for dog. I didn't know that. I thought that was specifically a Salvadoran word. Chucho. That's funny. Yeah, it's a funny word. Ese chucho, chuco. Yeah, that's funny. Forever Living says, French says, que fais-tu du crochet? Je fais un chapeau, mais c'est pas fini. When it's finished, it'll be like, it'll kind of be like, it'll be sort of like this. I mean, it's not even close to being finished. Then I'll attach it together up here at the top, and then it'll go around. Actually, it'll be more like this. It'll be kind of like that. There's a sneak preview when it's done. Okay. My hair is kicking today. Okay, so Lucas Santos says they have their one writing system too. Dialect is also dialect. Sure, I guess. Okay, I must leave. Okay, CG said I must leave in a bunch of different languages I don't understand, except Guten Nacht todos. Danke, gracias, merci, a bientôt. And then Serum says, mi ciam uzas bizarrain accentoin in ciam miain lingvoin. Yes, ankaŭ mi. Okay. Guy in the battlefield says, Spreek je Nederlands? Nein. I don't know if that's not Dutch or not. Ich nein spreek je Nederlands. Ich nicht spreek je Nederlands. Okay. Lucas was talking about the Andalus accent. And they have their own writing system? Okay. I missed your, I'm sorry, I missed your question. Lucas says the most difficult Spanish accent is actually Andalus. You wouldn't understand a word about what they are trying to say. Interesting. Andalusia. Is that where like Segovia is? Am I thinking in the right place? Andalusia is like southern Spain, right? I'm trying to think of if I can picture, like, try to imagine what their accent is. I can't. Also, Shriram says, Vi diris ke finctam estas hungaran vortoin. Kio estas la signifo de finctam? So they're asking what the meaning of the word finctam is in Hungarian, and I'm not gonna tell you. You're just gonna have to Google that word or be in the dark. Oh, goodness. Anyone who knows the word, who knows Hungarian is probably laughing right now. Okay, what does Santa mean in Spanish? It means holy, sacred, Santa, like blessed? No, holy, like holy, right? Holy, saintly. Mi havis unu trick ke mi... Oh, yeah, and it means saint as well, a female saint. But so yeah, as a noun it means saint. As a adjective it means holy, right? Like la Santa Biblia would be the Holy Bible. Mi havis unu trick ke mi parolis la germanan kun akcenton nederlandan kun akcenton nederlandan kaj iom da nederlanoj pensis ke mi parolis nederlandan. Yeah, so Sriram learned to speak German with a Dutch accent, and a lot of Dutch people thought they were speaking Dutch. Same kind of went for me when I was learning French. I would learn the French pronunciation of words, and then a lot of times when I didn't know the French word, I would just say the Spanish word, but with a French accent. And probably a third of the time it worked. Okay, Lucas says, yeah, and there's there's name who is San X and Santo, like San Agustin, Santo Domingo. Exactly, that's the male version. Okay, how do you feel about the power of speaking aloud, like beyond pronunciation? The more I do, the more I just end up in German during thought. Oh yeah, I definitely recommend speaking aloud. You have to speak aloud, right? Like you can't just. Some people have this push where they just want you to take in input. That means listening and reading. So you're taking in the language, but you're not producing it. You're not outputting the language. And I am a big believer in comprehensible inputs, but it's not enough. You have to output. There must come a time when you start speaking the language, or you will never start speaking. You will never learn to speak. You cannot learn to speak the language by listening and reading. Will not happen. I promise you. I mean, so you can start by listening and reading and listening a lot, and just doing comprehensible input. But there must come a time. There just has to be a time where you start speaking the language, right? You cannot learn to pronounce the words in a language without practicing and speaking them, right? Speech sounds are hard to produce. R in French, R in Espanol, U, like all these different vowels in French. U, in Thai we have U. In Greek there's right, and also in Spanish and German, I believe. Like there's just all these speech sounds that you're not accustomed to making. You have to practice. You have to move your mouth. You have to speak out loud. Yep, you have to. All right. Josivalo Silva says, do you think in coming to Brazil someday? Yes, I would love to. I have no plans of going there, but it is a country that I would love to visit. Asiatic God Mathematics says, so Santa Biblia would be Satan Bible then? No. So, dans quelle ville habitez-vous aux États-Unis? Et que pensez-vous des élections américaines prochaines? J'habite au Wisconsin, dans une ville qui s'appelle Kenosha, et personne n'a entendu de Kenosha avant, je sais pas, avant juillet peut-être, avant août. Maintenant, beaucoup de gens savent du Kenosha parce qu'il était dans les nouvelles, dans les actualités. Mais je vais me déménager en Thaïlande dans 3 mois. Alors, je vais habiter au Bangkok. Bangkok. I don't know how to say Bangkok in French with a French accent. Bangkok, I guess. Bangkok. My favorite word to say in French is Van Gogh. Is that how you say it? Van Gogh. It's Van Gogh, right? And I don't know. It's just a funny pronunciation to me. Okay. When will post the next video in 101 Linguistics 101? I don't know. I just posted one, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago. They usually come like once every 3 months or something like that. So I don't have any, there's no Linguistics 101 video in the incubator, so to speak, at the moment. But the next one will probably be a pragmatics video, which I actually never took a pragmatics class in college. So the only pragmatics that I ever learned was in my like general linguistics classes. I took like 3. I took 2 essentially, like I took linguistics 100 and then linguistics 301, which were basically just like had to do with general linguistics. And then I took 1 Spanish linguistics class. So pragmatics is definitely not my specialty. I find it very interesting. But I'm just going to have to do a lot of studying and reading before I start making a video on pragmatics for my Linguistics 101 series. Okay. Okay, Taylor says, yeah, I think that's really the case with languages like German. I can write languages better than I can speak because the sentence structure is so different. It's like putting together a puzzle. Yeah, I think that's in reference to wanting to speak the language instead of just reading or listening. Okay, Spirium says, "Ĉu vi pensas ke la gramatiko de via lingvo de viaj lingvoj influas vian alian lingvojn? Kiel kiam mi parolas Esperanto, mi uzas la gramatiko tamila uzi la akuzativon, sed la tamila sistemo de kasoj estas tre kompleksa, do ĝi ne ĉiam bonas." So if you've been watching this video from the beginning, this live stream, you know I mix up languages in my head a lot. It just happens. And it usually doesn't matter that much, especially like once I get into a conversation in a language, then I like find my groove and I can generally stay in that language. It's hard when I'm speaking a whole bunch of languages at once, like I have been in this live stream. Or if I go to like a language learners event, it can be tough to not mix up the languages in my head. But I don't think it's that big of an issue. It doesn't affect me that much. Yes, I have seen The Matrix. Okay. Liz Wardi says, "How do you practice writing languages? Do you use apps like italki or some others?" Writing is actually the skill that I practice least. I do a lot of reading, listening, and speaking. Very little writing. In fact, other than Thai, because I wanted to like master the alphabet, I do practically no handwriting in the languages whatsoever. Like, honestly, how is it going to benefit my life to learn how to handwrite in Greek? Who am I going to write letters to? I do the small amount of writing that I do. I just said do. The small amount of writing that I do is always on the computer. So I use italki. No, I'm not italki. I'm sorry. HelloTalk, as well as like different apps. I message people on Facebook or on Instagram, Twitter, stuff like that. Mostly HelloTalk. That's my number one app for getting writing practice with people. Okay. Taylor says, "Yeah, I guess I was a little vague. It probably happens in all languages. But for example, when I write, I know that it's das, du, something in German, but in speaking, it just naturally comes first." Gotcha. Yeah, that happens. Forever Learning French says, "Kenosha est-elle une grande ou petite ville où je t'utilise je t'utilise pour pratiquer mon français, me rire." Kenosha est une petite ville. Il y a presque 100 000 habitants dans mon ville. Mais le Bangkok est une très grande ville. Il y a, je crois, 8 millions d'habitants au Bangkok. Alors, c'est le plus grande ville où j'ai jamais habité. Okay. Kutchapat says prom chop. Chop pim ma quakin. You like to write? Pima pakin. Kien. I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. I really need to improve my reading in Thai. Just the Thai alphabet is so murderously difficult to figure out. Not necessarily the letters in the alphabet, but how they all go together, because they don't go in the order that you would think they go, right? Like in Thai, okay, so in English has a difficult writing system to understand. But at least in English, you start on one side and you go right. And then there's some weird things like when a word ends in E and there's another vowel, sometimes that'll change it around. But like you start on the left and you go right. In other languages, to type. Pim is to type. Interesting. That's good to know. But anyways, in other languages, like, I don't know, Arabic, you start on the right and you go left, which is fine. But at least that's, it's an arbitrary difference. Like one's not better than the other. You start from left, go to right, or you start from right, go to left. Fine, whatever. But in Thai, it's like you start on the right and then you go left, but then you have to jump back and look at the vowel that like didn't come in the correct order of how you pronounce it, and some vowels go underneath the word for no reason. And some vowels go above the word. Some vowels go on like opposite sides of the consonant. And it's just tough. Learning to read Thai. เรียนอ่านภาษาไทยยากมากเลยแต่ผมฝึกมากและผมจะเรียนอ่านภาษาไทยครับ Okay, so anyways, I think I'm gonna end the live stream here. I'm gonna go eat some lunch, and then I'm off to take a trip up north to northern Wisconsin with my siblings and my wife. So looking forward to that. I probably won't be very responsive to comments and questions this weekend, but I'll try to get back on and catch up when I get back home on Monday. Luzarde says, my only problem with the Thai script is figuring out the tones. The vowels are not much a problem for me since that's a feature of the Javanese script too. Well, you're lucky because it's tough for me. Anyways, I appreciate all of you guys who came to hang out and talk and chat and help me learn different languages. Do I have children? No, I do not have children. Salut, à bientôt. Merci beaucoup. Hasta luego. Gisla revido. สวัสดีครับแล้วพบกันใหม่ครับ Auf Wiedersehen. Quédate. No. Yeah. Adiosas. Anyways, all right. I'll see you all later. See you next Friday, 10:30 in the morning, Central Standard Time. Peace.